This is the 2020 Dodge Challenger Widebody Scat Pack 392. And this thing is a gorgeous, beautiful beast of a car. This car retails, well, the sticker price is about $54,000. This car is decked out with a few options. The most noticeable option at first is the red Brembo brakes. The red Brembo brakes are about a $600 option. You also have the carbon black aluminum wheels, which are a $1,300 option. It's different than the standard Devil's wheel that would come on the 2018s and 2019s, still offered on the 2020s. You have the Alpine stereo system, and you have the flat, almost deck lid-like spoiler in the back. That spoiler is another $600 option. This Scat Pack sits on 305 Pirelli P0 all-season tires. Dodge also offers the summer tires at an upcharge, of course, and I think that upcharge is about $1,300. We're going to take you through the car today, really describe to you what it feels like to drive this car, kind of give you the sense, the types of things that a brochure or a website isn't going to be able to tell you. And we're going to keep it meat and potatoes. So when it comes to trunk space, miles per gallon, or the back seat, we're just going to skip it. It's like the car almost teases you to come and see what it can do. And that's an invitation most would gladly accept. Not only does it have that classic looking muscle car exterior, but it almost is meant for those who missed out on the 70s era. The big metal hunking Chargers, Challengers, right? It's like, if I was of driving age back then and had a few bucks, I would have definitely gotten that car. At least that's what a lot of people say to themselves. There is no fear of missing out on a 70s car because this has everything that car wishes it had in spades. It's got the technology, it's got the reliability, it's got far more power, and it's got a lot of torque. And this is a car that's meant to be driven, and you can daily this car. You can drive it every day and it's going to hang in there with you. And Dodge puts their name behind that, not only with the warranties, extended warranties or whatever, but you just don't hear about a ton of problems from the new Dodges. This car, this body style, about 10 years old now, and it just keeps getting better and better. They changed it from the single long tail light to the dual, which I think just look great. And they've added the wide body. They of course removed one of the lights for the intake to get some air to this big beast. We have an 8.4-inch Dodge Uconnect infotainment system. It's honestly very excellent, very responsive to the touch, and they put everything they could in here. In fact, the car even runs its own Wi-Fi hotspot, which works incredibly well. You get a free trial of that with the brand new purchase of the car, as well as XM radio. The ventilated seats are probably one of my favorite features in the car. They throw air out from the seat, from the Alcantara seats, and they avoid that lower back sweat in case you're ever, wearing your favorite shirt and don't want to ruin it. Of course, we have the heated steering wheel, and honestly, this is one of my favorite features in any car. It's not until you get in a car that's cold and grab the steering wheel that you just think it's really the best. You have your apps here, and what I want to start with is the SRT dashboard. This is a performance car, and they give you whatever you want. You have your performance pages, and that's where you can see, just get all your gauges. Tells you what you're turning on the G-force, the dyno, which is what I love to drive with, see how much power your car is really putting out. And here we have the different drive modes available on the 392. We have, of course, I love all the technology that's really been shoved into this car and can really make it a driver's car. Obviously, it's on track mode right here for this stiffest suspension. It communicates with the Bilstein shocks and the dampeners to go give you a tighter feel. Also, it turns off traction control in both track and sport modes. But usually when you're cruising, or as long as you're on the streets, this is such a good mode. Even the custom street mode you can play with. Here's the auto. The auto comes with everything street except for the steering. It gives you the sport steering, and this is honestly where you'll have a lot of fun cruising. The Alcantara package is really meant to grab the eye. Everything from the red stitching to the red floor mats, all make great side notes to the main course, that is, the seats. The little drizzle on top is the red stitching throughout the dash. The retro gauges in the cluster are a huge win. An animation happens when you start the car, showing the Dodge beep. The car has multiple USB ports, and the instrument panel next to the shifter is small but well laid out. The buttons themselves are rather big, and there are 3 knobs. The knobs are actually kind of old school, and I appreciate the ability to twist them and turn them. It's more natural, more or less power, more or less music. And as for the car, the way it feels, it can turn, especially if you put it in sport mode or track mode. This car can handle itself. It adjusts itself and manages the weight, because this is a thick boy. Not only is it wide, but it's heavy. It's over 2 tons. It's about 4,300 pounds. But it has the 392 badge, which is 6.4 liters. And the 6.4 liters give you 485 horsepower and 475 feet of torque. People call the 6-speed 392 naturally aspirated V8 engine the driver's edition. There's a lot of trims when it comes to the Challenger, and the Hellcat for an extra 30 grand gives you over 700 horsepower. I mean, it's great. Question is, do you feel comfortable? Do you know how to use it? Do you like that supercharger whine? Then go get yourself a Hellcat. But if you want everything that the Hellcat offers without that extra horsepower or that whine, this is the version. This is the version. Everything from even the shaking or the vibration in the shifter lets you know that whatever sound or vibrations coming from this car are the ones you have commanded it to give. This car is a loyal and loud V8. It's such a raw experience because of the high torque. It calls back to Dodge's roots, even just to the 90s with the Viper, which had massive, huge wheels behind a massive engine and a long hood. But nothing more than the torque this beast throws out with absolute disregard for practicality. It gives the drive punch that any passenger will love. This is called the driver's Challenger. I know the red-eye Hellcat is the top trim, but this is a tasteful manifestation of Dodge, inviting any enthused or curious actual drivers to come test out what Dodge is throwing down. And Dodge has thrown down the gauntlet. So it doesn't matter what your flavor is, JDM, European, supercars, all those types of peoples and drivers look for the same thing, a great experience, a great chance to bond with a genuinely good quality car. And Dodge has given it in this 392 Widebody manual. So, Dodge has said, whatever cars you like, get in here and come get some. To conclude, this car is outright awesome. And it's clear, Dodge has been listening.